Good evening once again, loyal internet viewers. Tonight we're here with Michael Walker, who's President of Victorian Bands League. Michael, how are you?
I'm well, Tim. How are you?
Yeah, I'm doing really well.
That's good.
Thanks for asking. And Michael, tell us a little bit about your role in organising the national championships this year as President of the Victorian Bands League. Does that mean you're on the organising committee? Is there an organising committee, and how does that all working out structurally?
Yes, there is an organising committee. I'm the chair of that organising committee.
Great.
It basically consists of the executive councillors that have been nominated by the delegates to the executive council, and each one of those has a portfolio. Irene Magoulis is the contest manager, and then everyone else has various portfolios that and tasks to do to hopefully make this a fantastic nationals event.
Yeah, absolutely. And we're a week out now, I guess. Is everything sort of under control? You're confident it's going to be a good contest?
I'm hopeful it's going to be a good contest.
That's a good
pretty confident, yes. We've got most of the bases covered now. A lot of organising with the Siebel at Albert Park to make sure all of the venues and the various rooms are set up.
Yep.
We've been working in partnership with Generate Events Management to assist us with that.
Yep.
And we think that we've got everything pretty well scheduled out at this point in time.
Excellent.
A lot of work with the City of Port Phillip to ensure that the marching event goes successfully.
Yeah, and
Saturday morning.
the march is happening down through St Kilda around Luna Park. I think that's a real coup to have it in such an iconic place in Melbourne.
Yeah, we're pretty lucky to get that particular location. We did try for several locations, but we're very fortunate to end up with the march starting in the Lower Esplanade up to the main entrance of Luna Park, and then doing a right change of direction to head down Cavill Street towards the beach.
Right.
And we think it's a great venue. We hope that there'll be plenty of local residents from the St Kilda area out to have a look at the band.
Especially if there's good weather, I think there'll be no excuse for them not to be there, really.
Well, we're hoping for good weather. With all the organising that's gone into it, we're sincerely hoping it's good weather.
Definitely. And tell me a little bit about nationals from year to year. I know each year it moves around and a different state organises it. Is there much handover from what happened last year in Adelaide or the year before in Hobart, or is it sort of starting fresh from scratch each year when it gets to a new state?
No, there is a certain level of handover. Yep. As people may or may not be aware, the NBCA, which is the National Band Council of Australia, are the owners of the national championships, and they licence it out to each state each year. Yep. Us this year, Adelaide last year, Perth next year.
Perth next year, I haven't heard that one before. That's
yes,
quite exciting. A bit of a trek across the Nullarbor for a couple of bands.
Yes, hopefully a few of the Victorian bands would like to head out west, and hasn't been there for a long, long time, not since the mid-80s has it been there, so they're looking forward to that. But it's a licensed out to each particular state. The state puts their hand up for it. They have to put a proposal in of what they're going to do.
Yep. So is it a bit like bidding for the Olympics? All the states get around and sort of say, I want it this year, we're going to do this, that, the other? Or is it a bit more organised than that?
It's a bit more scheduled than that, and they try and share it around state by state. Yep. But ultimately you still have to put in a proposal of how you're going to run the event. Yep. And then when the council have a national conference every year in around about July, and it's detailed then at that point in time and what's going to happen, where the venues are. We get inspections of the venues, so there's a lot of work that has to go out, and you basically kick off the work. A particular state would have to kick off the work in preparation for it some 18 months out.
Wow. Yep.
For preliminary work in identifying venues, etc., and then the hard work starts probably about 6 to 9 months out, with an absolute poultice of work in probably the last 3 months.
Yeah, sure. And financially, it must cost a lot of money to put on a national championships. Does each state take on that responsibility year to year, or does the National Council sort of oversee that somehow?
Well, we had a bit of a coup last year where Yamaha put forward a sponsorship over the next 3 years with options.
Congratulations, Yamaha, you're doing a good thing.
And so from that point of view, each state that puts on the nationals gets a grant, if you like, from Yamaha as the principal sponsor of $10,000, and then it's up to the state has to pay for the rights to hold it, which is $2,500. Yep. And then from there it's about getting marketing happening, getting people to volunteer.
Yep. And how are the volunteers going? Are you still looking for volunteers for next week?
We're reasonably well placed, but if anyone does still wish to volunteer, we're always looking for extra hands on deck.
And to contact the VBL, they should send an email to
VBL at vbl.org.au.
That's flashing up on the screen right now, in case you didn't hear that.
Fantastic. No, that'd be excellent. We do have quite a number of volunteers that have put their hands up, but we could always do with a few more. It just takes the load off people having to do all day, every day. But to conduct the Nationals, and this is the first time that I've been a convener of such an event, but my estimation is that a state really needs to budget somewhere in the vicinity of between $120,000 and $150,000.
Wow. I don't think many people would know that it'd be that expensive to put on the event, but
it's a fairly expensive exercise by the time you hire venues, and venues can be in the order of $50,000 plus dollars, and then you've got all your payment for adjudicators and a lot of ancillary stuff that gets paid out.
So is income generated mainly through bands registering to play at the Nationals and then ticket sales on the day? And any sponsorship that comes along the way, is that about it?
They're the main sources of revenue. We try and get sponsorship. Trade stalls provide some of the revenue. Certainly pre-ticket sales, the registration of the bands, and then ticket sales over the weekend.
Yeah, it's a lot to plan and a lot to organise. But
yeah,
fingers crossed next weekend goes really well. I think it will.
Key thing is that we're of course hoping it goes well, and we've done a lot of planning and preparation to ensure that it does go well. But the key amongst everything is that everyone that comes along, and we've got in the order of 70 odd bands, and we've got something like 435 solo and ensembles entries for the competition, that everyone that comes along has a thoroughly enjoyable time and goes away and say it was a pretty good weekend for brass banding and concert banding in Australia.
Definitely, as long as everyone has fun and makes some good music, then I think it's a success.
Absolutely.
Thanks very much for joining us.
Thanks, Tim.